All right, everybody, welcome to week 2 of group coaching. So you should have completed week 2 in your Direct Sales Foundation course for this call. It was the one called Better Appointments. This will all make a lot more sense if you have completed that, okay? Our agenda for today, of course, we're going to, I want to talk about last week's challenge really quick. We're, of course, going to do wins. I want to talk about how to increase your show rate. I want to talk about what can you say when somebody asks you what you do. And I also want to talk about phone calls, making phone calls, and how to help eliminate the fear of that. And then I get to announce this week's challenge, which I'm pretty excited about, okay? All right, so, all right, I had to just mute something there. We are going to get started. So far for the challenge. So the challenge last week was to put a picture of your calendar, your filled out paper calendar, or for my free spirits, the 3 activities that we're going to move your business forward each day. And so you guys did a great job of putting in the group. Laura Whipperman, Lindsay King, Kate Burnt, Nikki Rapley, Katie and Laura Harmayan, Melissa did it, Emily Rashid, Wendy Sorum, Laura Shields, and Miranda Gerke. So way to participate in that challenge. I hope that it was, I think it will motivate you to kind of stay on top of things, because some of these tasks are easy to be like, oh, I'll do that at some point. So we're going to keep motivating and encouraging each other in that. And I also wanted to just mention that Laura Whipperman posted our oils for tonight. So she said wild orange and ginger. She commented this is what she said: I have too many appointments to try and watch these videos. That means we're in the space of abundance. Wild orange and ginger, put it over your heart and reside in abundance. So if you have those oils, grab them. As I threw Whitney in the crib to put herself down, did not grab them. But thank you, Laura Whipperman, for posting that. All right, let's get started with some wins. Who's going to go first? Remember, there is no win too big or too small. We want to hear them all. I think I'm going to hang on to that one. That was really good. So there are lots of wins going on. So go for it. Who's up first?
I can say really quick that I took a lot of feedback from people that helped me on the call last week about time management and saying, like, don't make the last week significant kind of thing. Everybody was like sending me private messages with some ideas. And I actually did that for the first time. I haven't felt like this week was the last week. It felt like any other week. So that was very, very helpful. And I'm so proud of myself for posting my goals every day. I've never done that. And I've never stayed consistent about anything. So I appreciate your guys, just a platform for me to do that in and to grow in that area. So thank you.
Thanks for sharing, Katie. I love it. I love that we're all a team in that together. Okay, Nikki Rapley, you're being called out right now by Emily. She says, share your win right now in all caps.
I might have a builder.
Oh.
So that's pretty cool.
That's super exciting. You know what? I did hear there a little birdie on the street told me that you rocked an OMG recruiting conversation.
Sure. We'll call it that.
Good. We're going to take it. I love it. That's super exciting. Em says you did. I love it. All right. Who's up next? That was a really good one, Nikki. Laura is looking for people to call in right now. Laura J is. Wendy, you have a win too. Em told me and I haven't. I'm waiting for the text. Wendy, what's your win?
I had a sales conversation yesterday with 2 people, one of which was a nurse. And if I had known, or I should say remembered, that she was a nurse, I may have rethought my with her, because it started off super scary. She right up front was like, oh, oils. Yeah, it's going all around the medical world right now. And we have friends who have had severe issues with ingesting oils and all sorts of things. And I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? And they both bought a kit at the end of the at the end of the conversation. So
Love it. Wendy's over there with her bottle of lemon, chugging it.
okay, no joke. I did, and that was how everything started, was because I had gotten all of us water and I got out my lemon and I put it in my water and then took a drink, and she was like, "Oh, these are internal ones?" I'm like, "Yes, they are." And then
like, that water I gave you when you showed up to my house, it was spiked with oils. You'll die in 15 minutes. I set the timer, pretty much. Wendy, 2 kids. Oh my gosh. I love it. That's a super great one. Holy cow, these are great wins this week. Okay, who's up next?
I'll go. Thanks, Wendy, for your share. You look great, by the way. So my win, I spoke with a functional doctor who I see, and I had a great conversation with her about essential oils, and she's not all on board about multi-level marketing and this and that. So she offered to study with me, and she loves to teach. So we're reading a book together about essential oils, and I know that I'm cultivating a really amazing relationship, and I'm excited about that. And my other win just left my mind. Katie, can you help me out maybe?
Yeah, was it the call from the email?
Oh, well,
Is that
sure.
it?
There's a lot of wins.
No, because I didn't have the call. They didn't answer. Well, I can share that. I had someone, I posted, I think in Fierce Leaders, that someone had reached out to me from a different oil company and wanted some information about putting oils up in residential facilities for elderly. And I was a very great wellness advocate, and I set up the call with her, responded very professionally, and she didn't answer the call. And I responded with an email very professionally, and then she got back to me that she had her answers, her questions answered already. So I was just really proud of giving the best care possible, and that's what we thrive on, is giving our customers care, and that's what I was prepared to do, and I feel like that's what I left her with as well. So we'll see.
Is it okay if I share with the group what I said on the coaching call when it was just you, Katie, and I?
Sure.
Do you remember? So I think that it's also a win for Laura, because Laura has a really big heart, and one of like the she like gives away a lot, probably more than she has to. So like 6 months ago, like Laura would have like given this woman a key to her house almost and every oil that she owned. Basically, I know I'm being, but that's kind of was like the posture. And I feel like the most amazing part of all this is like Laura took on the posture of like, this is what I have to offer. I will love you well, but I will not do more than I need to do in this situation, which is like amazing. So I just want to point that out, that was a really big win too. So thanks for sharing that, Laura.
Thank you.
All right, who's up next? Mom, you've had some good wins. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you guys inspired me. I did this course last January through March with Amy, and I got some out of it, but it's really good for me to go back to it now. I'm kind of learning at a different pace than most people. And so our call last week, I was mainly listening, inspired me so much to just really dig into my planner. And I called like 18 referrals out of that list of 26 that I got from a customer. And I set up so many appointments I can't even tell you. And I've got 2 OMGs happening. And I just feel like it was just a wonderful boost of confidence to just do it. And I want to thank you all.
Way to go, Mom. I love it. Okay, let's do 1 or 2 more. Who else wants to share? Anybody? Otherwise, I have a funny one. Linz, do you have one? I'm looking at Lindsay. No, 0 wins. Shocking. She's probably lying, but that's okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I've got a funny win for you. So do you know what I've decided the worst phone call of all time is? The second phone call to a referral that you called. So Monday I called 5 referrals, and I heard back from 2 of them. 3 more I had to do the second call today. And I think I don't know why. In my brain, that's like one of the worst. So 2 more voicemails. Third person picks up, and this is exactly where she was nice. Her name was Connie. Connie and I greet her. I was kind of surprised she picked up, and she's like, you said that you were going to call back today, so I was waiting for your call. And I was like, We had the best conversation. She knows me. She was at my wedding shower. Oops. Anyway, super sweet, went really well, like totally put me in my place about second phone calls and getting a grip and making the second phone calls, because she felt we had the most wonderful conversations. She felt super cared for, and we're moving forward with the oil conversation. So yeah, Mom says Connie. It's spelled Koni, and I actually had to respond back to the person who gave me the referrals and be like, is that pronounced Connie or Coney? Like, because you don't want to pronounce it wrong. So anyway, it was a really valuable lesson and a really big win for me to have like a really valuable conversation where somebody actually picked up the phone and it wasn't just the voicemail. So thanks everybody for sharing wins. I just think that's just so encouraging to me. So I appreciate all of you taking the time to be like, this is what's going well. And we are going to continue to do that. Okay. So the first topic on our list is understanding and increasing show rates. Okay, what does it feel like when you have a no-show for an appointment, when somebody doesn't show up or whatever, or maybe even a class? What do you feel at that point? I suck. Right. I'm so right. We internalize it. I am the worst person on the face of the planet, right? So we tend to internalize it. That is so true. What else? Defeated. Yep.
I feel like I just wasted all that time setting up for a class.
Maybe a little frustrated, wasted your time. Yes. Laura says upset. Wendy said defeated. Did I get that? No, Wendy didn't say anything. Wendy, I'm just calling you out. Yes, so all of those things. Okay, so what I want to do, why keep going? Okay, so this is what I want you to understand. I want you to understand what like actually to expect with show rate, so that you can build in the fact that some people aren't gonna show up, and you can minimize A, your frustration, and B, feeling like I'm the worst person in the world. Because look, I'm gonna tell you right now, nobody has 100% of people show up to appointments that they scheduled appointments with. Nobody does. So you can't hold yourself to that standard, because you're going to be frustrated with yourself, and you're going to be frustrated with the people that you ultimately want to care for and love on. So let's just nod your head with me. Not 100% of the people are going to show up every time, and it's okay. Grace for yourself, grace for the customer. So when you think of scheduling appointments, let's say if your goal is 2 appointments a week, it is not a bad idea to schedule 3 appointments. If you have 100% show rate at the end of the week, then boom, you had 3 appointments and you're a rock star. But if one person doesn't show up, then you're not panicking about your goal and where you need to be. You have to build that in so that you can be kind to yourself and kind to the people that you're caring for. That's just human nature, is that there will be people who don't show up. Does anyone else have any thoughts on maybe what would be helpful in minimizing the frustration of a no-show? Anybody like, oh, this might help me not want to beat my head against the wall?
I can say one thing I've noticed this week is, like, even though I really care about somebody or something really matters to me, I forget about it sometimes. Like, I'll think I texted somebody and I didn't. But then I get upset when somebody doesn't respond to me. It's like, why aren't you answering? Or I start, oh, they think I'm weird, or, oh, they're sick of me, or I text them too much, or I start making up all of these stories in my head when really they could have just forgotten. And Amy's helped me with that. Melissa has helped me with that. And so I've just acknowledged myself this week how much I do that, and it's so unintentional. So just to realize that everybody's forgetful. Well, let me speak for myself. I am forgetful, which means that I know some other people might be forgetful too. And just to have compassion instead of like defense as a first reaction.
Yeah, I love that. Laura Whipperman says, change the story you tell yourself about why they didn't show up. You have to be really guarded in your mind to not make up a story about why you're a terrible person or why they're a terrible person. You just got to watch that. Mom, you hit it on the head. Have something else planned that you can work on instead. Yes, and don't take it personal. We are going to talk about that, Michelle. I love that. So what are some things that you can have on your calendar that you can do instead? If you have a time blocked out, an hour for an appointment or whatever, and it's a no-show, what are some things that you can do instead? What can you do? Invite people to oil camp. Do it up. Prospecting, call people. Yeah, pick up the phone, call someone. Totally. Any other ideas?
Use that time to connect with the person to reschedule.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Love it, Linz.
I was going to say I really liked for the homework that we had this week that she was saying try to have your appointments when you call someone, set them within the next 3 days, because that increases the chance that they won't cancel. When in my head I was always trying to like, oh, let's wait a week or two so that they can block it off. I know that we don't have any other things clamoring for that time, but I didn't think about like that gives so many other things time to jump in.
So true. So true. I have really paid the price on the after 3 days scheduling. Yes. Laura Whip says, text splits, do homework for the course, right? There's so many things you can do. So let's also keep in mind of a backup plan so that can kind of take the pressure off too. Wouldn't it be helpful if you felt like that time wasn't wasted? Wouldn't that kind of help take the pressure off? Okay. I want to talk about one more thing about no-shows, and that's about calling people back who were a no-show. Do you think it's probably a good idea to be emotionally in a good place before you reach out? Just a thought. Hey, I'm sitting here, my babysitter is racking up the cash at home and you're nowhere to be seen. So thanks so much. I hope you still want oils though, so let me know. No, probably not. So put an oil on and take a deep breath and make sure you're emotionally in a good place before you call. Do we all feel like that would be a good thing? Okay. I did an example here that I have to be able to pull up. Are you ready? I'm going to figure this out. I still have these recipes up and I just can't figure that out. There we go. Okay. So here's an example of what you could maybe say. If you're going to call them during the actual appointment time, you're probably going to get a voicemail. So, hey, we weren't able to connect today, and it works out okay for me too because I was totally slammed and it gave me extra time to breathe and work ahead. But I know that you wanted to connect, so let's get another time that works. I have blank and blank. Let me know which time works better. I'll also shoot you a quick text. And then you follow it up with a text message. Hey, I just left you a message. I wanted to follow up. We're not able to connect today. I know you had wanted to connect, so let's get another time that works. Give them the options. Ask which time works better. Okay, so does this feel pretty straightforward? That's totally doable, right? And when you're in a good emotional place. Somebody's writing in the chat. I can't see. This is so darn gracious. You're going to have to really oil up and let the fierceness die down. But yeah. I hope that's helpful. Anybody have any thoughts on why it's good? Doesn't necessarily just apply to no-shows. Why is it good to send a text message after you leave a voicemail? Does anybody know?
Because if they didn't come to the meeting, they're probably not going to want to talk to and confront you about it right now.
I think that's a really good point, Katie and Michelle, because some people never check their voicemails. There is a large population, and I'm going to probably say of free-spirited people. I'm just going to throw that out there. But there is a very large, no, maybe not. Didn't mean to stereotype. There's a large population of people who don't check their voicemails. So just keep that in mind. When you feel repetitive and redundant, just remember, not everybody checks them. Okay, it happens. So it is definitely a good idea to send those texts. Really quickly, I want to talk about classes where you have a no-show, and I want to talk about show rates for a class. Does anybody know what the percentage, if you invite X amount of people, what percentage actually shows up? Does anybody know what that is for a class?
20%?
Yeah, it's like 20 to 30%, 25 to 30, right in there. So that's not a huge percentage. So anybody, who is one of the most important people that needs to know that piece of information? Host. Yes, the host of the class. And why is this? Okay, if we're customer first, we're host or hostess first, whatever you want to say. If your host has invited a chunk of people and they didn't know this from you, then they could very well be sitting in the class feeling bad the whole time that only 5 people showed up, and they didn't have to, because they would have known that that was just exactly what was expected, that that's how it was going to be. So you don't want them to feel anxious or bad the whole time. And you also want to be able to help them on how to understand how to invite enough people to actually have somebody there. Am I right? So I just want you to keep in mind with classes too, as you're thinking about show rates there. Think about your hostess, let them know that, prep them with that information, okay? All right, so are we feeling a little bit better about no-shows and about show rates and being prepared? Do you feel like you could all be kind of gracious with a customer? Maybe? Okay, good. Okay. Now I want to talk about how to respond when somebody asks you what you do. The dreaded question. Does anybody have an example of what they say when somebody asks you what you do? Some of you on here could say, like, Nikki could be like, I'm a brilliant chemist, but when it comes to oils, whatever, so play along with me here. Checking the chat. So apparently nobody gets asked this question, though, which is okay too.
I have one that I worked on yesterday with a lady from Albuquerque. If you'd like to hear it, it's a few sentences long.
Sure.
She looks at people and she says, "Oh my gosh, I have the coolest job ever. I sell essential oils." And then she just waits to see what they say. And she says, "Do you know anything about them? Have you ever used them?" Usually what I do is, and that's it. She gets tons asked a lot, and people really respond to that.
Her confidence really shines through.
Mm-hmm. She gets like in their face and she's like, "Oh my gosh."
She must have that. It's like certain personalities. Maybe we all need to hang out with your Albuquerque friend. Laura Whipperman says, "I do the most amazing thing. I sell essential oils." So a similar type thing. And apparently Lindsay has a secret one that we're all going to get to learn in February when we're at the Jumpstart event on the 17th. So she's been sworn to secrecy. She already got to see the presentation when she in California. Sworn to secrecy. Anybody have any other thoughts about what they say when somebody says, "What do you do?"
Katie and I generally will say, I teach people about essential oils, or I share, the education about essential oils with people. Mm-hmm. I don't get as excited, but I think I might have to change that.
I think we should all give it a good old try. Katie says, "I say nanny, deliver food, homeschool my daughter, and run my own business." Or is that what Michelle says? That's what Michelle says. I was like, Katie, I did not know that you did any of that. I just had a good, funny moment. I was like, are you making fun of me? Okay, just kidding. That was super funny. Yes, Michelle, I love it. So here's the thing. This is the rule of thumb. I bet nobody can guess I'm going to say this. You have to keep it clear and simple, right? Simple, simple, simple. And it has to be able, like a 4th grader has to be able to understand it. That's kind of the mark. And I think that you guys, it sounds like, are all doing a good job of being like pretty straightforward about what's going on. But it's like, I really love the culture of doTERRA, but I think we end up with some veiled terms about what we're trying to do. Like, I empower people with natural solutions. What? Why are you trying to be vague? Are you trying to be sketchy? Like, what are you trying to do? So, and the other thing is, if I looked at somebody and said, I empower people, you know, to change their lives through natural solutions, what kind of people do I attract? And what kind of people am I excluding? Do you think people really want to go down that rabbit trail of like, what do you mean by that? That's kind of a risky question, right? Okay, so keep it simple, keep it clear. Do not speak in veiled terms. So whether you're saying, I honestly would recommend just being like, I sell essential oils, because do you know who you attract when you say that? Anybody know?
People that want essential oils.
People who want to buy essential oils. What an amazing thing. Okay. So, you can say share, you can say teach, but you know what? You can't really teach somebody how to use an oil until they bought them from you. I'm just going to say it. You can't really educate them unless you just want to give all away your education for free until they've actually bought them. Okay. So just remember that even if you want to empower them with natural solutions, you got to sell them the oils first. So I would encourage you to be straightforward. I would encourage you to be clear and, again, simple. No veiled terms. And just own it. Just own it. This is what I do. If you want to be a part of it, fantastic. If you want nothing to do with it, fantastic. You know, I'll be over here drinking my lemon water and it's fine. So just know that, okay? Feel prepared for what people, even if you have to be like, I sometimes say to Gary, this is actually what I do. Well, on the way to a family gathering, I could be like, hey, quick, ask me what I do. Or, this is my favorite. Are we going anywhere? Hey, Gary, quick. Ask me to do my referral outline. I make him have me drop that one all the time. So use people and practice, okay? All right. Are you guys ready? We're going to talk about making phone calls. All right, so let's talk about, and we're going to talk a little bit about eliminating fear. But does anyone on this call feel a little bit anxious about the idea of picking up the phone and calling somebody? And on the flip side, does anybody on this call not feel anxious about the idea of picking up the phone and calling somebody? Lucy, Lindsay. I love it. Stephanie writes, terrified. Sometimes we got from Katie and Michelle. Yeah. So Lindsay is our brave soul. And some of you might be thinking, I don't feel like phone calls are that big of a deal. I just want you to remember, like, it's like when we did the time management for our free spirited friends, don't tune out, because you are going to interact with some people who are terrified of picking up the phone. So tell me more. What kind of feelings? Tell me more about talking on the phone. Just talk to me about it. Tell me what's going on in your brain when I say pick up the phone and call somebody.
I don't want to sound stupid. Like, I'm worried that I'm not going to say the right thing, or I'm not going to have the right information. And I get nervous. Like the nerves are there. And so I sound nervous. And so then I'm worried about that. It's just a lot of overthinking.
Oh, overthinking is such a good one. All those things are so true. I love it. Who else has some thoughts about phone calls? What if they answer the phone? That's so true. Yes. Mom, Melissa says, I worry that they will think I'm a moron. The tapes that go through my mind are so loud. Sorry, 1 second. I'm having a struggle. Oh my gosh, my husband is calling me. Sorry. I was like, I couldn't see it. Okay, let me pull the chat back up. Oil talk, vomit. I have a tendency to talk too much. Yes. I love it. Any other thoughts about that? I feel like the worst part is that when you actually get somebody live on the phone, it is like out of your control. There are no facial expressions to read. It feels very like, I'm a person that not only are we in a day and age when I can see people almost, 9 out of 10 times when I'm interacting with them, but all of a sudden you have this added component of like, they could say anything or do anything, and it feels like very outside the realm of my control, and that makes me horribly anxious. So I think that most of us feel pretty much in the same boat on this. Can I get an amen on that? I think we're all kind of like, it's a challenging thing. Okay, so there's a couple things that I want to talk about. I do want to talk about fear in a minute, but I want to talk about this. And maybe some of you feel like this is redundant, but if you're not going to pick up the phone and call them, What are you going to do? Like, what are your options? Tell me how are you going to set appointments?
Texting.
Okay, texting. Yes. Okay, I love it. Any other thoughts on how you might go about setting appointments? She's typing on a keyboard. Facebook, email, Messenger, in person. Yes, usually outline or when you connect with them. I know one of Kate Burns' goal. I still have them at the grocery store. Nikki said Kate's goal was to do one in person. She knew she was going to see somebody. Yes. So I think in person, great option. I want you to raise your hand if you ever got a Facebook message post or a text message or something, or a Snapchat, Katie says, from somebody who was like doing network marketing or an MLM, and it gave you like that feel. Like you just got, maybe it was have you ever gotten one of those? You know what I mean? Or like it went out to a million and one people. Anybody? Okay. Can anybody give me a hand raise if you thought like it was a really well-meaning person who probably had a really good heart, who was trying to do it well? But did it come off that way? I mean, what did it no, I mean, Laura Whipperman literally raised her hand in Zoom. You're so smart, Laura Whipperman. I want to be like you. So that is my point. If we are in an industry that has a well-deserved black eye. People, even well-meaning, good-hearted people, do bogus things, and sometimes not well-meaning people do bogus things. But if we do not draw a line, and this is what I'm willing to do to say that I care about you and I'm going to go about this differently, and this is important enough to me to be like, I'm not going to take the easy way out. Until you set that standard, until you like take that stand, you're walking a really fine line of trying not to be that network marketer and ending up being that network marketer probably 90% of the time. Okay, does that kind of make sense what I'm saying a little bit? My desire, what I've learned from myself in this process of having to figure out how to honestly get over the anxiety of making phone calls. I know some of you might have known, I literally like in my brain, I didn't do it physically. I had like a full out temper tantrum. I like had a meltdown for probably 72 hours. On Friday, I knew I was going to have to do it on Monday. And I had like a total meltdown. And you know what? This is what it is, everybody. I'm sorry. I'm talking too much. This is what it is. It's about what other people think of you. That's really what it boils down to, is what will they think? What will they think of me? And we're going to kind of double back to that, but that's really where our brain goes, I think, when we boil it down. Okay, I'm going to step off of that for a minute. I want to talk about how you can eliminate fear, a simple trick. So some of you know this. Emily wrote something when Amy called me to tell me to start working on my list of people to call, I threw a temper tantrum. It's true. There's like a visceral reaction. It's very strong. I'm not denying that one bit. Okay, so what I want you to think about is, actually, here's what we're going to do. We're going to work on a trick to help you eliminate fear. Okay, so this is a neuroscience trick. This is something that I learned from Emerge. I need you to humor me here. I want you to grab your pencil, okay? And when you like think about that phone call or you think about that person, I want you to think of the person that you like absolutely do not want to call. Or if you're afraid of heights or spiders, whatever, just think of it. And if you take your pen or pencil and you put it in your mouth, kind of like a dog bone, it like this. You have to put it far enough back. It triggers neurotransmitters, and it leaves you physiologically incapable of feeling fear. So this is how I make my phone calls. Emily's laughing. Screenshot it. Em's the best at screenshots. Okay. So you literally can't feel the fear. So as I'm dialing my phone, I'm sitting there. I've got drool all over like this. Okay. All right. So that is the thing. I know Nikki's really thinking hard. Nikki's the scientist over there. Okay. Oh, she's got
I think it's your parasympathetic nerve that, because, yeah, we don't need to explain why I know that. But yeah, but you know what I've been doing? I thought it was this. So I've been doing that and not there. Yeah. Okay. So maybe I'll get better at my calls.
Laura and Katie have a long list of calls for Friday that we're all going to cheer them on for. But yeah, so that is honestly the trick. And there's actually kind of a residual effect. Like it's different for everybody, but you can do that. And there for some people will be kind of a lasting effect. And the other thing, does anybody like, I think we all might agree on this, maybe not anymore. What is the hardest part of the sales conversation? What part do you get to that makes you have to take a deep breath? Closing. The close. So it's hard to do this without looking like a moron, but if you're going to pull out your paper or pull out the kit sheet to add them, you can rest your pen in your mouth while you go do that. Do you like that? So you can do that without looking totally crazy. So even if you feel like you have to do that then, but it really is, it's hashtag science. So that is a tip I wanted to give you, and you will not be alone in sitting there making calls, sweating, making calls and holding a pen in your mouth, because at the end of the day, it's not about me. It's not about you. Okay. Just remember that. Okay. So that's my little science trick. And the other thing that I want to talk about is preparation. Do you guys all feel like you would feel a little more confident about making phone calls if you kind of knew what you were going to say? Well, Laura, you mentioned that. If you wouldn't that be helpful if you felt like, oh, I at least know what I'm going to say and I have a general idea? Would that be helpful? Okay. So here's what we need first. We need somebody to be like, pretend to be my sister or my close friend. Can anybody just pretend, just like grin and bear it and pretend that they know me? Okay, good. Laura said she would.
Hello.
So I'm going to call you on the phone. Not really. Don't pick up. So you pick up and say hello now.
Oh, hello.
Hey, Laura, it's Amy. Did I catch you at a bad time?
No, everything's good.
Okay, great. I know I'm totally calling out of the blue. I'm actually calling to get your thoughts on something. I'm starting to sell essential oils, and as part of my learning process, I'm just trying to set up appointments with people I know to get more comfortable. You don't have to buy anything if you don't want to, and really my part takes about 30 minutes. Would you be willing to help me out?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, great. We can do it over technology or in person. Which works better for you?
Over technology would be good. I think.
Okay, great. We can do Thursday at 3 or Friday at 2. Which works better for your schedule?
Friday at 2.
Okay, it's a date. Great. I'm super looking forward to connecting, and we'll get a chance to catch up too. Thank you so much.
Awesome. See you then.
Okay, now I want you to shoot me down like bad. Like when I get to the part of would you be willing, like just give it to me, okay? Okay. So.
Hello.
Oh, hey Laura, it's Amy. Did I catch you at a bad time?
Kinda, but it's okay.
Okay, you got like 30 seconds?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So I know this is out of the blue. I'm actually calling to get your thoughts on something. I'm starting to sell essential oils, and as part of my learning process, I'm trying to set up appointments with people I know to get more comfortable. You don't have to buy anything if you don't want to, and my part will take about 30 minutes. Would you be willing to help me out?
No, that doesn't sound like something I would be interested in.
Okay, that's great. That's totally fine. If anything changes, let me know, but I'm totally cool with that. So tell me, what's new and exciting in your life?
Not a whole lot. No.
Okay, good. Well, we'll talk soon. We'll see each other at Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. That was perfect. Okay, so I forgot to say this up front, but thank you, Laura. Good work. You're great. You're a great mean friend. So how did you feel? I wanted you to pretend that you were Laura, put yourself in Laura's shoes. But did anybody watch that? You could have. But did anybody experience that and think like that was like nuts? Like Amy is a whack job, which you might, which is okay. But did anybody feel like totally alarmed by the strangeness of that conversation? Did it feel somewhat normal? Like could you pick up the phone and hear somebody say that and not think terrible thoughts about them? Probably. Maybe. Okay. All right. So I'm sorry I didn't say that first, but yes, I wanted you to experience that. I wanted you to think about what does that feel like to receive that phone call? Because I think until we put ourselves in that space, we continue to make up a story about what we sound like. And that can be the most brutal part, which we talked about. Okay, so now I'm going to actually like coach somebody through this phone call outline. So I need another volunteer It won't be painful. And by the end of this, I honestly feel like you'll be confident and possibly even excited to make some phone calls. So, any takers?
While people are thinking, can I just say something?
Uh-huh.
If we're customer centered, then it really doesn't matter how we feel, right? It's all about serving them. So we need to get beyond that fear and that the negative tapes that play in our minds. And maybe Laura was just having a bad day. Maybe she'd had a fight with her wife. Maybe she has a headache. Maybe it's like never about us. It never is. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Mm-hmm. That's super true. Apparently, I'm very intimidating. I'm not getting. I'm going to sit here and wait until I get a volunteer.
What did you need? I'm sorry. Say it again.
I need somebody to
Go.
wait, say it one more time.
Michelle's gonna go.
Oh, Michelle's going. Mute yourself, darn it. I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to hear a word.
Voluntold, right?
All right, Michelle has been called out. So, Michelle, thank you for volunteering. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to share my screen, and on it is going to be the phone call outline. And what we're going to do is you're going to get a chance. I'm going to be your potential customer, and I literally want you to read from the screen what it says. And it will feel awkward the first time, but then it will get better, and we'll just go from there. How does that sound?
Sure, that sounds good.
Okay, great. So I'm going to share my screen so you all can see it. All right, can you see the outline there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're just doing this top part right here for that first call. So you go ahead and I'll be your potential customer.
Okay, so I'm just following this word for word, right? Pretty much.
Perfect, exactly.
Okay, hi Amy. Did I catch you at a bad time?
No, now's a great time.
Okay, great. I know I'm totally calling you out of the blue. I'm calling to get your thoughts on something. I'm starting to sell essential oils as part of my learning process. I'm trying to set up appointments with people I know to get more comfortable. You wouldn't have to buy anything. I don't want you to. And if you don't want to, and my part will take about 30 minutes. Would you be willing to help me out?
Totally. Yeah, that would be fun.
Okay, awesome. We can do it over the phone or in person, which works better for you.
Let's do phone.
Okay, we can do, let's see, Thursday at 4 or I have Friday at 6. Which works better for your schedule?
Let's do Thursday.
Okay, awesome. I'll talk to you Thursday at 4. I'm looking forward to connecting and catching up. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, I love it. How did that feel? Yeah, cheers. How did that feel?
It was fine.
Okay, let's do it.
I get it memorized because obviously reading it, I screwed up. But yeah, it was fine.
No, you're doing great. I thought it was really great for a first run through. Let's do one more, and then I want to ask, I have a question for you if you want to change anything about it. So let's do it one more time as is. How's that sound?
Okay, the same one? Okay.
Yep, same one.
Are you going to be a mean person this time?
No, I'm still going to be nice.
Oh, okay. It's going to throw me off. Okay. Hi, it's Michelle. Did I catch you at a bad time?
No, now is great.
Okay, great. I know I'm totally calling you out of the blue. I'm calling to get your thoughts on something. I'm starting to sell essential oils, and as part of my learning process, I'm trying to set up appointments with people I know to get more comfortable. You don't have to buy anything if you don't want to, and my part will take about 30 minutes. Would you be willing to help me out?
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
Okay, awesome. We can do it over the phone or in person. Which works better for you?
Let's do it in person.
Okay. I have Thursday at 4 or Friday at 6. Which works better for your schedule?
Let's do Friday at 6.
Okay, great. I'm looking forward to connecting and catching up. So I'll see you Friday at 6. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Yay. Okay, did
I kind of want to cry.
Did you feel the difference?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there anything that you'd like to change or tweak about this? Is there anything that you want to shift?
No, I mean, I'd probably put like a couple of my words in it, like I changed the last line a little bit to reiterate the appointment time and stuff, but.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I will see you. Yep. I love that. Anything else that you would want to change? I know you said great.
I would probably say I just started my own essential oil business instead of I'm starting to sell essential oils.
I just started my own essential oil business. Okay, great. Anything else?
No.
Okay, perfect. Now we're going to do one final run through with your edits, and I'm still going to say yes, and we'll see how that feels.
Glad you made that clear. Okay. Because then I'd be totally off. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Hi, Amy. It's Michelle. Did I catch you at a bad time?
No, now it's great.
Okay, great. I know I'm totally calling out of the blue. I'm calling to get your thoughts on something. I just started my own essential oil business, and I'm trying to set up appointments with people I know to get more comfortable. You don't have to buy anything if you don't want to, and my part will take about 30 minutes. Would you be willing to help me out?
Yeah, totally.
We can do it over the phone or in person. Which works better for you?
Let's do phone.
Okay. We can do Thursday at 4 or Friday at 6. Which works better for your schedule?
Friday at 6.
Okay, great. I'm looking forward to connecting and catching up. So I'll call you Friday at 6. Thank you.
Perfect. Yay. Okay, lots of cheers and clapping for Michelle. That was great. Thank you, Michelle, for being my volunteer. How do you feel at the end of this about having to pick up the phone and call some people?
Good.
You feel like you could say this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, good. So I think what Michelle was a great volunteer, and I think it's important this is the preparation piece. If you don't actually feel confident or like you know what you're going to say and feel good about it, you're not going to make the phone calls. You won't. I can guarantee you will not make the phone calls. So this is like a general outline that I've created. And I also just want, while we're looking at the screen, I just wanted to show you the natural progression. It's 3 contacts. That's what it looks like. So you do a call, which you just heard Michelle do. And if you don't get them on the phone, you leave a voicemail, and it's pretty similar to what Michelle said. It's just you're not interacting with a human being. And then you text them after you leave the voicemail. Okay. And this is where I said, I'll be sure to reach out to you Tuesday. And I got myself, good thing I was a woman of my word today. And then your second contact, I'd say is I do it the next day, 24 to 48 hours, I would say. Call them again. If you get them, hey, I'm just following up on the message. Did you get my voicemail? If you're leaving a voicemail, here's what you can say. And then the third call, I always do a third one. And the third one is basically like, hey, I haven't heard back from you. I do not want to bother you, so I'm not going to ask again. But if you want to connect, just call me back. Isn't that fair? That's reasonable, everybody. Don't you think? The 3 contact rule? Okay. So I have that all. I will probably put that up under the files tab. But that's the kind of thing, whether you're going to do it with, myself or your leader and say, hey, let's practice this. I don't care if you call me try and call me during work hours. I'm just kidding. I don't care if you call me and say, hey, I just need to practice. Emily and I had a good chuckle. She was going to call Heidi Brahm and try and set up an appointment. And she thought it was the funniest thing in the world. I don't really care. Just call somebody and just practice it, or just do it with somebody in person. Just do what you have to do to feel comfortable. Okay. I just wanted to read, as we've talked about the mental battle of making a phone call, I just wanted to read an excerpt to you that actually Tasha from Emerge posted, and it's from Mike Weinberg. Okay, so Laura Whitburn is asking something. For when somebody doesn't show up. Yes, I will put the outline up for when somebody doesn't show up too. Yes. Okay, so this is what the excerpt says. What is your motivation to prospect for new business? Please don't blow off this question. I'm serious and I'm asking for a reason. I have run into several salespeople lately who have been charged to bring in new business but can't seem to bring themselves to proactively pursue target prospects, i.e. make phone calls. They know they need to initiate contact with potential buyers, and they agree that sitting on their butts waiting for a lead or commenting in LinkedIn groups is not going to create sufficient opportunities to fill their pipeline. But they just can't get over the hump, and they remain stuck in reactive and passive mode, hoping beyond hope that the opportunity fairy will put a lead under their pillow or in their inbox. Salespeople, hear me on this. If you truly believe that your job is to improve your potential customer situation and that you have a life-changing oil, a life-changing solution that will benefit them and will produce a positive outcome, then it is irresponsible not to make every effort to earn a conversation with potential buyers. Very early in my sales career, my dad drilled it into me that as long as my motivation for selling was to help my customer win, I would be a very successful salesperson. If I helped the customer win, then I would win. That was priceless advice. Think about it. If you truly believe that you can improve your potential customer's condition, then not only is it your motivation to sell pure and honorable, but you are doing the customer, your own company, and yourself a disservice if you don't pursue them and reach out. So if your heart isn't in it, or if you've been procrastinating, making excuses, or actively finding reasons not to prospect for new business, maybe it's time for a heart and an attitude check. Maybe you've been viewing yourself and your job wrong. Instead of seeing yourself as a pest, a product pusher, a pitch man, or whatever you want to say, see yourself as a true professional problem solver, a value creator, an advisor, an expert, a consultant. What if you embrace the reality that many of your prospective customers are likely living with a suboptimal solution or are potentially stuck, and you and your oils are in a position to help them? I certainly hope that would increase your motivation to pick up the phone and initiate a dialogue. Stop putting off prospecting. There are potential customers out there who need your help. And it's Tasha who always says, if you believe that your oils have life-changing properties, you have a moral and ethical obligation to tell people about it. Emma, I will share that too. And I just think when I start going into my own cocoon, I have to remember it's not about me at the end of the day. And that's true of a lot of situations, for sure. The one other thought that I wanted to share, that this is really helpful for me when I have to make phone calls, is I have to remember the end goal. Okay, so if what stops me is what other people are going to think of me, basically, this is what I say to myself. And I could insert a name, but am I going to let what somebody might think of me keep me from reaching my goal? That's like the formula. Am I going to let blank keep me from reaching my goal? Am I going to let picking up the phone and worrying about somebody might think of me keep me from bringing Gary home and giving Whitney unlimited access to both of her parents? Am I going to let that honestly stop me from picking up the phone? Am I going to let what other people think of me, now I'm picking other people's goals, keep me from having the money to be able to adopt a child without going into a debt? Am I going to let picking up the phone stop me from that? Am I going to let picking up the phone stop me from being able to be at home with my child? Like, just insert whatever you have to insert. And it doesn't have to be some big thing. It can be a small thing. But insert your goal into there and think. Put on your rational thinking cap and think, am I actually going to let that stop me? Just simply offering an appointment. I'm offering. Am I going to let offering somebody to connect with me keep me from where I want to be? And the answer is very obviously no, but in the heat of the moment, it's hard. Can I share that quote? Yes, that's funny. Is it a quote now? Yes, I will make that a quote. Of course, I will share all of this. Okay, thoughts so far, things that you want to say. Yes, I will post all of that. I better make a note about that. What are some takeaways that you have had from our time together?
One takeaway for me, at first, I love the end of like that whole thing we just went through, but just sitting, for those of you that don't know, Michelle just started working with me. I feel so lucky to have her. I've gotten really close to her and her family pretty quickly, and so I'm just really blessed to have her in my life. I think you know that already. But just
the feelings mutual.
Like, for me, I make that outline so complicated, and to hear, like, it's just so refreshing to have somebody new that comes in, like, kind of with no like bad habits or no like negative energy, kind of, to hear how easy it was for her to just read it, to have like no attachment. It really encouraged me to make those phone calls too that I'm like too scared to make. It's like, literally, you're just reading. Like, when you're so scared about all of your feelings, just read. There's no feelings in just reading. And so she just really helped me put that into perspective for myself too. So that was very encouraging for me.
Thanks for sharing, Katie. And thanks for being a part of it, Michelle. Any other thoughts or takeaways from our conversations about all of this?
To give yourself grace because no one has 100% show rate, and so plan accordingly and have a backup plan of what you can do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love it. Grace, grace, grace. Yes. Anybody else?
I'd never thought about, am I going to let that person stand in my way? You know, after making those 18 calls and almost having heart failure, and then by getting to the end of it and being like, no, I can do this. No, I'm going to like write that out and put it like on my forehead. Yeah, that was a good line.
Thanks. And most of the time it's a fake made up person, or what they fake, you know what I mean? Like it's that person that you've elevated to a certain level. Don't give that power away. Don't give the authority away. That's something that I've learned over and over again. Yeah, Melissa, Katie says what you said, Mom, about putting our stuff aside because it's all about them anyway. Yeah, totally. Totally. These are all really great takeaways. Anyone else? And if not, I've got your challenge for you. All right, are you ladies ready? Okay, here's your challenge. I want you to post a video of you doing it doesn't have to be actively with somebody. You could just be pretending, or you could just be talking to the screen. I want you to post a video of you doing your phone call outline. Even if that's the one that I just post up that you read for verbatim, even if you can have it, you can be reading from it because you can be on the phone and doing that. I want you to post a video of you saying it and like genuinely meaning it, you know? So I'm posting a video of you doing your phone call outline. Okay, that's one. And then I want you to, whether you put it in the comments or in a picture, I don't care how you do it. I want you to post the 5 to 10 names of people that you're going to call. I want you can, if you want to use initial, I mean, it's a secret group. If you want to use a last name, that's fine. So I want you to post a video of you doing your phone call outline. And then I want you to let us know who you're going to call and who you're just going to give the opportunity to connect with you. You've got the outlines. You hopefully have the tools you need. And I hope that by the end of this, maybe some of you are even feeling a little bit like nervous excitement for like, I think I could maybe do this like a little bit. And if you just need to get on Zoom and sit with me and we can stare at our phones and do it together and take the big breath and mute ourselves and do it, then we can do phone jams. We can do those. But you guys have this and you serve people well. Don't sell yourself short. Just remember that, okay? All right, I'm going to check the chat one last time. Okay. Who are we going to offer an appointment to? Yeah, just remember, you're just offering. You're not pigeonholing them into anything, just an offer. All right, that's all I have. 9 o'clock on the dot. I will put up the recording, and I think you're all awesome, and we'll talk next week, okay?